We're heading over to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It is the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's day 2 of the event, and we're excited to go see this amazing living museum. And we're gonna go check out all the tents and all the interactive things that are going on. We're inside the Gettysburg Military National Park, but we're gonna be going to the Daniel Lady farm, and this is where all the reenactments are taking place. We're going to be able to see people dressed up, historians dressed up in character. They are doing a big battle at, I think, 4 o'clock today. It is the rolling thunder of Wheatfield to the Valley of Death. 8:30 right now on Saturday. It is crazy how busy it is. Everyone's lined up to get started, and it's going to be a full day worth of all kinds of events and things going on.
Got a whole bus of people.
We're driving a caravan of people. My dad and mother-in-law and the kids. Never been to Gettysburg, but you have been there, right?
Yeah.
And you've been there many times. Twice.
Yep.
Yep. So don't know what to expect, but everyone that I've talked to said it's amazing. So we're gonna go.
Should be fun.
Go Hogsworth.
What?
Hogsworth?
What are you
Wrong
talking-
book, Jeff.
Dad,
Wrong book.
This is the Civil War. This is not... Leave it to my dad to drop a Harry Potter reference.
Incorrect.
It's a Harry Potter family, so come on.
Yeah, but
you guys.
in a video that's supposed to be serious about the Civil War.
Look at my socks.
Yeah.
Be serious enough.
Yeah, I got it.
Everything on the website said to be cautious for ticks, so we've all got our pants tucked into our socks.
Yeah, we are all ticked up, ready to go.
I don't have my pants tucked in my socks. I might.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we're going to be in the middle of fields. So.
Yeah, we're going to a
You know,
field.
that's the kind of thing I wonder, and I could be completely wrong. If a couple people got ticks and they complained, and so now they have to put it as an official form.
Probably.
Well, I mean, a couple people probably got Lyme disease.
And I'm also using a new camera lens, newer LS18. It's a wide-angle lens, so I can actually see everyone in the shot, which is incredible. And this is a Sony ZV-1 camera. Normally, it's like this up to my nostrils, and you're like looking at my nose. So that's pretty exciting. And then my kids, put the googly eyes on the lens cap here for me. So my mother-in-law just said that if we survive the heat, stroke, weather,
If we
and the
survive
ticks
without heat stroke or ticks,
or Lyme disease, it will be a great day.
It was a great idea. It was somebody's great idea.
Whose idea was it? Was your idea, right?
It was her idea.
Yeah.
And I tagged along.
And you just said you're coming.
No, I said, can you get me an extra ticket?
You supplied the car.
I said I'd like to go, and you can get me a ticket. And
Yep.
she did.
And you supplied the car.
A great family day adventure.
Family day. Here we
We'd be
go.
in 2 cars if it wasn't for Larry, Uncle
You
Larry.
better have fun because it's a family day.
Everyone is going to have fun today.
That's right.
That's an order.
We are going to be serious.
And that's an order.
That's an order. Very interesting.
Look at the
No, you can
traffic.
see- you can see the people.
Yeah,
So
we're
really
about a half a
close.
mile away there.
It's not even that way.
So we're actually we're inside the Gettysburg Military Park, National Park, but we're going to be going to the Daniel Lady farm, and this is where all the reenactments are taking place. Really for 3 straight days. We're in day 2 of the whole thing. They have a bunch of tents set up. We're going to be able to see people dressed up, historians dressed up in character. They are doing a big battle at, I think, 4 o'clock today. It is the rolling thunder of Wheatfield to the Valley of Death. I am not a historian at all. This is
the
my
approach to Gettysburg.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is it's going to be a great experience learning. It's very fitting that there is mist everywhere. I don't know if that's actual fog or if it's the wildfire smoke from Canada still, but it looks very eerie as we pull into the Daniel Lady farm. right in the middle of where everything is.
parking
These
and
are
then
all
across
the
the
tents
street,
here.
right.
That's what
look at the
people
lines.
look at the guys getting ready. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These are what we came to see, right? We came early so we could
Oh,
get to all this.
yeah, I was gonna say we're glad he came early.
So tickets for this event, $50 with tax and everything, and that was for the ticket option with the bleacher seats, so that way you're sitting a little bit higher up to look down when they're reenacting the battles and everything. And it's a 3-day event, so you have an option of buying all 3 days and getting a discount on that. But 8:30 right now on Saturday. It is crazy how busy it is. Everyone's lined up to get started, and it's going to be a full day worth of all kinds of events and things going on. This is like the most important thing to do right now. Do me, do me.
Wait, you gotta do my other leg, and then you do.
Alright, the one with the max. It's better than Lyme disease.
This is like ridiculous. My dad is
He gets
just
fun
begging
days.
to get
Told you
tick
so.
tick
Us old
bites.
timers are tough, you know, but
Gravity,
But I did
I would die if I put long pants on.
All right, we'll go put some. At least put some bug spray on, Dad.
Oh, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So quite the line at 8:30 in the morning right now, but the sun's not out. It's cloudy, overcast. It's perfect weather. Here's a look at the itinerary for today of things that are happening. A couple
have a bigger one.
demonstrations going on. There's a main battle taking place later on today.
behind the
It's pretty neat stuff. Yeah.
guns and the swords.
You can buy that.
Sabers.
They call them.
It's a musket. Custom built.
Dad, you can buy an old revolver.
Old revolver. They only want 7.
And a really tiny gun.
I don't know. I don't think so. You'd have to ask.
These are actual bullets recovered from the battlefield, dude. Look at this.
This is fast.
Man, it's like $40. Kernelless popcorn they sell here. Look at this. So if you have braces, you can enjoy the popcorn, right, Ellie?
Yeah!
These are s'mores flavored, dark
Oh my
chocolate
gosh.
flavored.
So once you check in, there's just tents set up everywhere. We're gonna make our way over here. Living history camps.
ATV.
So how's the kernelless popcorn taste?
Racist friendly.
Racist friendly. Nice.
Where'd your dad go?
He's getting food.
Oh.
Dr. G's miracle cure. Ice cold libations. All kinds of goodness.
And they asked them to make up a pain a year. Consistent medication. All numbered 1 through 52. And they were in a box. And it was carried in a medicine wagon. It weighed 82 pounds. That's why it was carried in a medicine wagon. Couldn't have glass jars because it would bounce around. So they put them in tins that looked similar to this. They were all numbered on the label. So if I need some more liquor morphasis fetus, which is morphine, okay, I know there's another federal surgeon right down the road. I'm going to send a courier down there. So he's going to hop on his horse, and I says, make sure you get your liquor morphasis fetus. He hops on his horse and he's riding down the road. All of a sudden, about halfway, he stops. He goes, what was I supposed to get? Now he's got to turn around and come back. I can't have that. I'm going to tell him the next time, 39, which is right on the label. Kind of hard to forget that. If you forget 39, you're not going to be a courier anymore.
You want to see my irons? Do you press your clothes?
You do.
Oh, so good. I have an iron with my toys. Can you hold that for me? Oh. They're really heavy. This is what they pressed their clothes with, and it was really hard work to get it all hot on the stove, and then it gets all dirty, so they got to clean it off. Then they have to press something with it, and it just takes forever.
Oh,
See where I'm going with this?
Smart.
Yes. This is the first rechargeable iron. I said that to a teenager yesterday. He goes, yeah, I get it. So what you have is 3 irons and you put them on the stove and you get them hot. And then what you do is you pick up one with the detachable handle and you press as hard as you can for as fast as you can. And then when it gets cold, you put it back on the stove, detach the handle and pick up the next one. And she was smart. She made the handle out of wood. Because sat irons are all metal and they're very hot. And you can burn yourself really easily when you're using them. So, yeah, isn't that cool?
White in the shirts, we had lemons, we had bluing in the water to make the yellow clothes from the lice look a little whiter. The sun certainly does some bleaching and kills a few germs as well, you know, or UV light situations. So, but that requires a lot more care. It depends on your rank, you know, your pay grade, and all this was known. It was all common knowledge.
His chest wound alone would be enough to have him get some comfort measures and call the chaplain and put him to the side, and I wouldn't even be able to do anything to him. Yeah, if they came in with any kind of mortal chest wounds, pelvis wounds, things like that, at that point it's comfort measures only and move them off. In fact, they might even not even brought to the operating table. They may just be automatically moving those measures somewhere else. Then we're going to see the patients we can actually save.
Cooking breakfast here. Yep, coffee and eggs.
Two orange creams.
2 orange creams.
I would squeeze lemonade.
And a lemonade.
And 1 lemonade. I can get that for you. And you want the lids off of these?
Yes, please.
No problem.
$8 then.
What color? Send me the one you took with me so I can send it to my friends.
David,
They know
let me
I'm at
see, bud.
Gettysburg today.
Nice. Lemonade. All right, we're making our way to the main field, which is where they're having a big demonstration. How you holding up there? It's pretty
Me?
warm.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's great. Oh, it's not that
it's not
bad
that bad at all. The sun is not
Compared
out
to what we
fully.
expected.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be like 90 degrees.
Coming in doing this to me. I feel like I'm a Klingon. You know?
God bless America.
Here you
There
go.
we go.
We have plenty of chilies.
Right! Turn! Forward! Halt! I'm the one who does it. Fight forward! March! You just come off on the right.
Unfortunately, we have no federals here this morning. Don't know why. But First Sergeant will be putting them through some more drills while we do that, and I'll kind of tell y'all what they're doing when they're doing it. Then afterwards, we're going to break up and talk to the crowd. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the troopers when we dismiss. I don't have my bifocals on, so I can't really see that far. I see a couple have carbines. And when we dismiss, you can ask some questions about the weapon. But the saber was not a stabbing weapon, it was a slashing weapon. And these drills were set up so they could go quickly from pistol to saber to carbine, depending upon what type of action they were facing.
Cavalry man does not want to lose his sword. So cavalry has 4 weapons. He has a long gun, shotgun or carbine, he has a saber. Saber will have she has a pistol, slam.
Now, most of these ones are veterans, but it would have been the same during the Civil War.
I know.
you would have to guess.
Now, is that made out of wool?
Yep.
So it's not too pleasant during the summer.
Isn't that what all of our clothing is? Wool?
Wool, yeah.
I didn't know there was such another material.
Yeah.
That's all you got is wool. This gotcha.
You ever hear of a group called the Masons? Do they still exist here in your country?
Yeah.
They had this election process, and they used an election box. They used a white marble and a black marble. And the way they would elect their officers, especially the small groups, is with a ballot box, very similar to this one. My grandson says it's original. And what we're going to do is we have this gentleman here. He wants to run for orderly sergeant. He wants to take my place. And we're going to vote because the enlisted men in the Confederate Army voted for their non-commissioned officers. So he would be a non-commissioned officer as sergeant major. Okay? Now, I want you to take it in consideration. You know, he's going to lead you in the battle. He's going to make a lot of decisions. It's going to be a life effective decision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the tiebreaker, and I'm going to have two people come up. Ma'am, would you like to come up and vote for our orderly sergeant? And what you'll do is in this side of the box, can you see this? You take a marble out of this side, you put it in a hole here in the top, and I will count the ballots. And again, I'll be the tiebreaker. Gold or white marble. Sir, meaning you no disrespect, but you have been blackballed.
General Ewell, was our Corps commander, decided that General Early would be in charge of provost. That means I was in charge of taking care of all the prisoners, sorting out all the captured equipment, and this takes manpower. So when we left Winchester to pursue north, and we weren't coming to Gettysburg, Gettysburg was something out of our minds, although I was in Gettysburg before any Confederate officers or Confederate soldiers were. I was here on the 26th. It's another sidebar of things. But still answering your question about Coles Hill. I had to leave behind 3 regiments, 2 Virginian and 1 North Carolina regiment, just to handle the prisoners and the equipment. So when I got here, I was understaffed by 3 regiments. As things broke down on the first day, and we were able to push the Federals from the western side of town to this eastern side of town. And those hills that you referred to, Coles Hill and East Cemetery Hill, I'm going to step back to the 26th of June. When I came through town here, my orders were to go to York, Pennsylvania. For those who don't know, York is just northeast of here. And I was supposed to meet up with Jeb Stewart there and wait for orders. But when I got here on the 1st, the evening of the 1st, I didn't have the men to do it. But if I had 3 more regiments and men with me, we could have captured this hills. I think I answered your question. We just didn't have the men to do it. Plus, at that point, during that particular part of the day, General Lee's orders were still not to bring on a general engagement. Although it may appear a general engagement was in hand, we were still under orders not to bring on a general engagement. But I knew these hills had to be captured because I witnessed them before. I just couldn't gather enough troops to get the job done.
My brigade's on the coverage of behind McPherson's Ridge. We pushed through McPherson's Ridge. We were going up against the Iron Brigade. You guys familiar with the Iron Brigade? Their reputation preceded them. We got hit, and we got hit very, very hard. We were able to hold the ground, luckily, but we took a tremendous, tremendous amount of casualties. We were able to push a good portion of them through the town. During this fighting, at about 11:30, 12, around noon, I received a courier come up to me with a note that General Heath has been wounded. General Heath took a bullet right between the eyes, but lived. The reason why, a couple weeks prior to getting here at Gettysburg, he bought a new slouch hat, similar to General Early, Major Von Hort. A little bit too big, so he stuck newspaper in the hat band to fit right. During a couple weeks of the nice humid climate we have here and sweating, that paper turned into like a paper mache and saved his life. struck him right between the eyes, but knocked him out of commission, knocked him silly, so he couldn't continue his command. But yeah, saved his life. I'm the senior brigade commander, so I received a note saying I am now the division commander. With that being said, I tried to get somewhat control of what was going on. We had some men, they were going all the way to the ocean. They couldn't follow these Yankees through town. I eventually pulled them back and to the coverage of McPherson's Ridge, and that pretty much was the story of our first day fighting. Forward now to the second day, which is today. We are not engaged with the enemy. I've not been given any orders yet. The only orders that I have provided to my troops were to gather the wounded, try to bury the dead if possible, and I gave one order to the 26th North Carolina Band, and I wanted them to come through camp and play music for them for the entire day to keep the morale up. But right now, that's where we are right now. I'm awaiting, just standing by to see if any orders are going to be given to be moved into position. We're trying to get numbers of wounded, casualties, dead. A lot of the soldiers in command, or officers in command, they have been hurt, they've been wounded. So we're struggling a little bit to get numbers, but so that's where we are right now with my brigade and now my division. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. I appreciate your time in this heat. I appreciate your attention, and thank you.
From one of my, let's see, it was a regimental commander. He was a colonel in the 6th Louisiana. Said that our efforts here weren't quite as successful as we wished because we fought this battle. We, the Confederate Army, fought this battle by division and not by corps. And then when you step back and look at all the fighting that took place here and when it took place in this hill and that Wheatfield and this over here and this Calvary field, he's correct. Not one time did we have a full corps of men engaged in battle. It was always a division. Division here, 2 divisions there, not the 3 divisions that should have hit and struck off one time. Okay, so he's correct, 100% correct. Yes, sir.
Why didn't we march in full force? They seemed like Longstreet was over here, and Jewell was over there, and you seem to be all one unit.
It's not that he didn't want to. If you look at these orders placed, and I've argued with this for years and years and years and years and years, and General Lee ordered General Longstreet to get the attack off on the second day by 8 o'clock in the morning. He didn't get it off till 4 o'clock in the afternoon because he didn't think his men was positioned correctly. Now, the whole idea about striking with the forces that he had, if he would have got the attack off on the second day on a timely fashion by noon, our men were positioned here on East Cemetery Hill. We've already explained that. East Cemetery Hill and Gulfstone. We would have pushed, he was on the west side of town. If he'd attacked at a timely fashion, we could have pushed both corps this way and pitched the enemy out, which was what generally wanted to happen, but it didn't take place. He was late getting off. Our communications fell short, so we were late getting our men in line and attacking. By the time we attacked East Cemetery Hill, which, by the way, we did capture, but we couldn't hold it, it was dark. It was already dark. We lost our opportunity.
He didn't want to fight here, correct? I want to get my thoughts out to all of you about what I said on the 30th of June, me seeing the large contingent of blue uniforms. If General Heath and General Hill took the information that I provided them back at Cashtown more seriously, maybe we probably could have waited till Longstreet came with his corps, and then started something in either Cashtown or had a whole lot more people pushing into Gettysburg. I'm a little bitter, and the reason why I mentioned when I first started talking that I'm not a West Pointer, I strongly believe they didn't take the information seriously because of that. I was new to the Corps. I was guarding Richmond prior to that, and this is my first engagement with the newly formed 3rd Corps brigade commander, although the most senior one, not a West Pointer. I believe if I was, they could have taken that, I believe they would have thought more into what I provided them and maybe moved some things around, or was patient and waited till Longstreet came up. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight on what's going on in this ticker here. So thank you.
Do you think he would have taken that opportunity to actually overrun the Yankee forces? If General Jackson was on the field, a lot of people thought so that he would have been aggressive enough to take those hills in a timely fashion. But General Jackson would have had to face the same situations that we were facing. He wouldn't have had enough men here to do it. He would have had the same situation. He couldn't have done it by himself. I don't see how he would have approached the town any differently than we did. We were very successful in moving the Federals off of Blockers Knoll. We were very successful in moving them off of Oak Ridge. And once we got them into town, it was a cluster in here. We had a very, very poor time of even maneuvering. And again, as I stated, let's just say Jackson was in charge. He would have rode up to me and said, General Early, I want me to take those hills. I said, General Early, give me the men, we'll take them right now. But I still had General Smith all the way up on the, General Smith was still positioned on York Road. General Gordon was out there making sure there wasn't Federals on that hill over there called Wolf's Hill that was trying to flank us, even though I was told that. I had men still left in town as provost watching the prisoners. That was a regiment of Louisianians. I had a North Carolina brigade with an inexperienced colonel in charge of the brigade, named Avery. Now Jackson would have been faced with the same situation. So what I think he would have done differently is that he would have rode out to AP Hills and told and insisted that he get some troops out here. But I don't know that to be true. Okay.
Pretty cool hearing the perspective Confederates' decisions made on why they didn't attack on the first day with the full force. They didn't have as many forces available. And day 2 of the Battle of Gettysburg really kind of changed, and that's what we're going to see later on today. There's going to do a reenactment of Wheatfield. But heading back over to the bleachers again, they're going to be another demonstration here.
Let's see what the grandstand can do versus these guys. How about that?
Sure.
All right. 3 cheers for the Union. Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
Hip hip.
Hooray!
I am Steve Cameron. We are with Burroughs Battery. We portray horse-drawn artillery. We have driven 500 miles with our horses to put on to participate in the 160th reenactment of the Battle of Gettysburg. We portray both Union and Confederate. Our local Confederate name is Burroughs Battery. Our Union name is the 1st Tennessee Battery E. They actually exchanged shots at one particular battle with each other. They were both made up of people from Tennessee, one part for the Union, one part for the Confederacy. Is this the rifle one? Okay, we have fired this gun out to 900 yards. We could hit a sheet of paper, a sheet of 4x8 plywood. We hit it twice at 900 yards. So anything you see here could be hit and destroyed. These horses are standard breds. They're retired race horses. They all had a good career in racing, and then they came to live with us. They are excellent horses. They pull a lot. They're very strong. They have a lot of endurance. And when you adopt a standard bred, you get a horse that's been handled every day. He's been trailered frequently, so he's very used to being handled. We get the horses out. We train them to the noise. We go through the firing procedure, and then you got to take them to a reenactment to get used to it. Let's do an action rear. Okay, so this is moving forward, so you can fire in any direction. You can give the command action left, action right, action front. The horses, the gun is detached from the limber, the horses maneuver into position, and they face the gun. That means they're ready to pick up the gun no matter what direction we're going. Okay, so from this position, gunner, command, action, rear. Okay, so the gunner lifts the pedal hook, the lunette off the pedal hook, sighting the piece in the general direction. Okay, he has commanded the type of ammunition that is to be loaded. The crew begins the process of loading the gun. The gun is sponged to extinguish the embers that may be remaining inside the bore from the previous discharge. The horses maneuver around so they're facing the gun and running over me, and coming to where they're supposed to be facing the gun. They do best facing the gun. They don't really like facing away. So the round is inserted by number 2. Number 1. Well, then, after 2 gets out of the wheel, number 1 rams the charge. Okay, make sure that it is seated properly. This would fire separate loading ammunition, so you have a bag of powder and you have the projectile loaded separately. Okay. Okay. Number 3 then comes back to the handspike, departing out deflection to the gun. The gunner is working the elevating screw, moving the screw up and down, sighting the piece, gives the touchdown signal. Yeah, that's period correct. The hand's on the hand. That means the piece is sighted. All these maneuvers are done in battle when you may not be able to hear a thing, so visual cues are important. So the gun is now loaded. The gunner commands, ready. At ready, number 3 steps in, pierces the bag with priming wire. Number 4 inserts a friction primer into the vent. Number 3 allows the slack to be taken out by 4, and the gun is ready to fire at your discretion.
Whoa! Oh, wow. Goodness.
Okay, at this point, we don't simulate this in reenactment. That gun would recoil about 15 feet. So the gun would come back 15 feet or so. The gun is then rolled back into battery.
Oh yeah, did you see, Mom, did you see
The gun would then roll back into battery, and the process would begin again. The gunner will command the type of ammunition, and we have a couple of displays of our ammunition. Gentlemen, if you don't mind kind of going in front of the grandstand and showing the types of ammunition. We have a Hotchkiss shell. Again, this is a 9-pound exploding shell. It's a replica, and it is inert, if anyone's wondering. And then the other round is a canister round. This is like a large shotgun. It has 88 and 69 caliber lead balls in it. So this is fired within 400 yards. This is, again, like a large shotgun. The group is approximately 1/10 of the range. Max range is 400 yards. At 400 yards, you're going to shoot a 40-yard wide hole in your infantry group that you're shooting at. There's 6 guns and a battery. You got to beat your Wheaties to attack a battery ready to fire at you. Okay, we'll fire another round, go through the process. It just doesn't look the same without the recoil. Okay, secure the piece. We're going to pick the gun up, and I'm going to show you how we reverse direction. All the crew gets inside the wheels. All right, so limber up. So the crew grabs the gun, wrestles almost 2,000 pounds. The gunner has the lunette and puts that on the pintle hook of the limber. Okay, he announces wheels clear. That's a modern safety thing we do. That makes sure that you know he's out of the way and we'll run over him. Okay, so we're going to move forward. We're going to demonstrate another maneuver. Ready? Forward, march. And let's do a counterpunch. march. Left about. March. Boom. Okay, so now we'll draw 50 yards. Forward. March. Come on, guys. Boom. And hold. So then you can continue to fire. You can do this continuously. Remember, you have 6 guns falling back, alternating by section, covering each other's withdrawal. So you can withdraw and keep a steady rate of fire up. So that's one of the neatest maneuvers that we do. You have ear protection. Yes, the battle starts at 4. And, so, have fun.
Made it back to the car for a little lunch break.
Who else is having a nice tea here?
We got some subs. We got TJ's awesome,
My
massive
lunch and my
sub.
coffee's in here, isn't it? All right. E.
I started making my sub, and then I realized we had bigger bread, so then I took my original sub and I stuck it in the big piece of bread. Yeah.
About halfway down.
Alright, heading on back. You can check out the 2nd Division Hospital. That's what this big barn is. Wow.
Was this actually a hospital?
Yeah,
This was like a hospital. It's
I
just,
think that I actually think it actually might have been a hospital. I think if they actually used this, yeah, they used this as a hospital. I think.
Yeah,
They used
these are instruments.
Yeah, I think they
these are the medical.
You know, they didn't have anesthesia.
You know, they said too that people wanted to take their chances in the field than go to the actual hospital because of the sanitary conditions, as you can see. Imagine sitting in a pile of hay and you're going. It's crazy. Just a pile of body parts.
Pile of body
That's
parts.
great.
If you have any questions, let me know.
So,
Yeah, he made it. He did not.
no anesthesia back then.
Yep.
What did they do to numb
And
the
they
pain?
had ether and they chloroform.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. But it was liquid.
Liquid,
So
okay.
it would be in tins.
Yeah.
And this would be the anesthesia machine.
Yeah. Wow.
Put it over the patient's face, and you would just drip it in. Just drop.
And
Just
then
enough.
knocked them out. Yeah.
So they were able to knock them out to do amputations? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So they did not feel any pain during the surgery.
Good.
But then during the surgery.
But afterwards.
Afterwards, there was a lot of pain.
Did they do the, was this the operating theater, so to speak, down
Thi-
here?
Yeah, and I think that it was not only done in this barn, I think just by the light, I think it would have been done in this
Here, 'cause
area
of the light,
or outside.
Wow.
Because
The
upstairs
walls
it's
look
too
really
dark
old.
and you have all of these windows.
Yep.
Up front it's a little bit too dark. Now you could open up the doors, but you still needed to get the patients in and out. So this would give a little bit more privacy. This is where I would have done it. And I was told by somebody else that they read that this was it. So I'm taking the word for it. Of course, nobody's around to tell us for sure.
Yes.
So, wow.
That is something.
2 o'clock.
C'est quoi ça?
Hi there. Well, hello. You're eating it. Well, hello there. Yeah, what's going on?
Look at how strong I am.
What's going on? Are we eating? You eating the barn fence there? Yeah? Okay, yeah. Does that feel good? Okay. Nice. It tastes good too, huh? It's like literally eating the Yeah. So when you get this guy a teething ring or something. The Daniel Lady Farmhouse is what this building is. This is a little plaque. This is pretty neat. Is this the dinner time bell? Yeah. Ding, 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 ding,
No,
ding.
stay wise and don't leave.
Yeah, because we'll be doing that.
I wonder.
Wow, okay.
Look at the size of the fireplaces they used to cook, you guys. Because that's what they had to use to cook it. That's a soapstone.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all the rage now.
Hi, thanks for coming to see us. Headquarters during the Battle of Gettysburg. It was also very quickly turned into a Confederate field hospital as the need to bring the wounded soldiers back somewhere came to be. So the family that lived here was a family of 10. Mom and Dad were Daniel and Rebecca. They were a fairly affluent upper middle class farming family. They had 8 children between the ages of 10 and infancy when the battle took place. These first 2 rooms that you're in, that was the hearth room and this is the kitchen. These rooms are 200 years old with the rest of the house being about 175 years old. The next room that you're going to walk into is Rebecca's parlor. Ladies typically did not have their own parlor rooms back in the day. They typically also did not have closets in their houses. So between her beehive oven in the hearth, which you may have noticed, her own parlor and her closets, it was fairly certain that Daniel wanted his wife to be very comfortable and happy here. Now, in 1863, in July, Rebecca's parlor turned into triage and assessment for the wounded Confederate officers. That room was totally stripped of its furniture, and the soldiers were brought in, name and rank recorded, type of injury, and they were left to sit along the edges of the wall waiting for their surgeries. So if you came looking for the blood stains, they're in this room right here.
It is the blood stain. Interesting stuff in there.
You're just filming info coming from. It could be for a setup.
Yeah. And small, compact. So
Compact.
good for coffee.
Yes, and if you have a bigger pot and you've got the ears,
Very
it's
cool.
very good. We're portraying a house on Baltimore Street.
Okay.
So that's our impression.
And Baltimore Street in Gettysburg.
Baltimore Street, downtown in Gettysburg.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. Typical house.
Typical house.
Typical house. Gatorade. They had Gatorade in those days. They had Gatorade in those
You want to
days.
get cider minutes? Yeah, just no, the 220s once married, they're both working. Not so much. They could. We'll be right there.
That's pretty cool.
That's more like the saddle you guys rode on the first time. Isn't it? Yeah.
And porta potties everywhere in case you need to use the bathroom. Did they say what this barn was used for?
At one point, horses.
Horses. And you have hundreds of tents over here. Of all the reenactors are all over here. That's where they're all staying. Yep. It's pretty impressive. I think they sleep here. Well, I bet you if you ask them, they will say absolutely they sleep here because they're in character.
Yeah, I don't think they would tell you. I think they stay in character.
Yeah.
So I think we asked, they're going to say, of course we stay here. We're with the
Yeah.
army.
I asked someone earlier if their clothes was made out of wool or something else, and they said, well, all we have is wool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There you go, Beck. I got the answer.
We just confirmed.
Thank you.
People sleep in them over the weekend.
He doesn't we learned from those two guys.
Yeah, explain it to me.
Okay, so first they got to make sure the barrel's clean, so they
Yep.
put this in.
Yep.
What did they call this, David? Called the snake.
The snake?
Something. And they clean it and it scrapes it out, and then they use the water that they dip in there, and they clean it out to make sure there's absolutely no sparks or embers left over from the previous one. And then they take the other side of this.
The ram.
That's the ram. They put the wool with gunpowder
This
in.
thing right here.
No. At the other side of this.
The other side of this. Okay.
Yep. And they put it in the wool with gunpowder.
Yep.
And they tap it twice like that. Remember the guy was throwing the pole in?
Yep.
They do that, and then they take the shot and they put it in.
Yep.
And then over there, this here hole.
Yep.
Somebody first goes in, now that it's all cleaned and everything's ready, and they clean it again to make
Yep.
sure there's no ashes. So they must do that before they put all the shot in. And then they use a hollow tube that has, I don't know, somehow they get flame in the hollow copper tube, and they put it in, and then they do something to drop it, and that's when that kid would step out and go like this.
So that it doesn't blow his hand off.
And then step out, and he had a few seconds, and boom, it blew everything.
And then man four would
Oh,
stand back here and pull the
Yeah, because this thing goes back like 15 feet, right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's right. The kid puts it in, and then he comes over here and stands, and Ellie's right.
And then that one pulls. But he steps back because
There's a long string to that, and they step
Not
back.
anymore because they use aluminum balls filled with
So
gunpowder.
there's not much of a recoil. when they
No,
use it.
but back
with the real
in
cannon.
Civil
No, with the
War,
real
we realized
cannon,
they
but
would
with
go
the
back
tinfoil balls.
He
it
said about
doesn't-
12 feet of a recoil.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's right. To actually do the ignition, somebody was over here and pulled the string.
Nice.
They're over there.
Oh my goodness. You can
All
just
over
see
there.
tents everywhere.
Dad, look at those.
Oh my, I know, it's crazy. So this part is really neat because it's all of the reenactors are here. They have their tents set up. Most of them are probably sleeping here in the tents to get the true experience. And it's, as far as you can see, tents.
It's basically what the actual Civil War
Yes.
tents would have looked like, or a Civil War camp.
Mm-hmm. Right now, everyone's just waiting around until the big battle reenactment in 2 hours.
Hey, art.
I'm sure this is what they did.
Art.
Look at
That's
those!
how these
Look at
go
those
over.
bayonets. Look how long they are.
I mean, they had to stab right through people. So.
David, you have any questions, bud?
Yeah.
Ask a soldier. Something.
Like what?
What was it like living in a camp like this?
What was it like living in a camp like this?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. Generally, camps are organized as you see such. We have most of the lower level privates and such along the company street, set up on either side. We have a communal living space at the end with a campfire in the middle. At the very end of the street here, we have our captain's quarters and our officers. And beyond that, you have higher level management, regimental level and stuff like that. And it just kind of keeps going down. So it's a very structured place. It makes it easier to find people.
Nice.
How did you get water?
Water depends on where you are.
Yeah. Close up to a city, you might be able to get from a well.
You can get from well, but rivers, wherever you can. Here, we get them from big tanks because there are no rivers here.
So if you guys were bivouacked here, or whatever you call it, you would have to go far.
Probably, yeah. But you'd probably only send one guy with a bunch of kids.
Put your hand right down here. Keep your hand up there. You're not going to point it at anybody. Hold it right there. I'm going to keep my hand up here so you can point it down.
Oh, wow, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is heavy. Oh, you want
It's very heavy.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Anyone else?
Just keep
They
your
should
finger-
be about the
Yep,
same
keep
way.
your
Yeah,
fingers
that's
outside
probably.
of that. There you go.
Whoa.
Very heavy.
You end up holding them like this
Just
for
so
long
you can
periods of
support
time.
it. Yeah,
You
yeah,
feel it
I
in your
know.
elbow.
That's usually when you like march.
Yeah, well, you don't. They don't like. Well, I say they don't like to, but they tend to make us do it more than we'd like to.
Yeah.
Hold it at shoulder, which takes a lot out of your elbow.
Yeah, it's interesting. Most people, when they originally see it, they think that shoulder arms would be something of this nature, and you hold it from the buttstock. Actuality, take these two fingers here, place them on either side of the trigger guard, and the other three fingers behind, and you're holding it here.
Okay.
You're tucking the gun in with this hand, and then in modern day military, this is how you position your hands. Back then, you took your pinky, you put it on the seam of your pants, you kept your thumb flat up against your hand, and you were here. And then traditional positioning of the feet, Dorothy, click your heels together, take her home. Right there.
They couldn't wait to get home, could they?
This form probably comes from British doctrine, which would actually have it on the left hand.
Side or
like
left
this.
side and inverted here.
But the U.S., as far as I'm aware, never did that. So.
There's a multitude of ways to carry it. You have shoulder arms here. You have the right shoulder shift here, which is where you would actually rest the kind of fulcrum of the gun up to this position here, and putting the toe of the gun, which is the front end of the stock, in between these two fingers, and it would stabilize pretty well here. That's support arms, which is your hammer being tucked into your elbow, left arm, over across to the right breast.
And they can give the command to rest on support, and you just support it with your other.
These two will be able to be
These are much more
carried
comfortable.
a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to wear yourself out as much when you're kind of using your skeletal system here or gravity here to kind of balance it.
So when they were marching, you guys were marching, long. I mean, you all had to walk to wherever the next battle was. Didn't you just use the strap over your shoulder?
You
or
can.
did
That's a
always
route
carry
step.
it like that.
Sometimes, yeah. There's different commands about how to carry your weapon.
Seriously?
Yeah, you can do like that, like they did in World
with
War
the heavy
II.
part up. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's what they did in
route
World
step
War II.
means you can carry however you'd like, and it's for really long distance. So this kind of thing would be more common for long marches.
And this would also be a common way you would carry your gun if it was raining. So you don't want water to get down the barrel because wet powder is bad.
Additionally, for other rain carries, you have secure arms, which I believe is over the left shoulder, like so. And
Another
this is
rain position.
Yeah, this one's also relatively comfortable to hold for a long time, so it's not too bad.
Be able to lift it up and balance it. But if you're in the rear rank, you're firing with two ranks, he's in front of you. Traditional stance for firing.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, we're not aiming right at you, but we'd be a little flatter with it. So you're holding that
So
gun
it'd
for
be
a
right
second.
above him. but
Well,
at
no,
the
actually, I'm
same
over.
angle.
I'm over his right side,
And you're
you would
shooting
have to
right
hold
with
that.
his ear right there. Oh my
Well,
God.
you try to keep the head between the second and third band.
Yeah, but
Because
still,
if it's
over
here,
time,
if it's here,
gonna
then
hurt
there's
your
a
ears.
really
Yeah,
loud
you go
pop,
deaf. That would not be
and
fun.
you would
Yeah,
go deaf.
you
Or
go
if
deaf.
it's all the way at the barrel, you could get powder burn. Obviously, would very, very easily become deaf in that ear from this end. So you have to hold that position and get your arms out to a decent length to be able to maintain safety for yourself or the guy in front of you. And you also had to wait till the officer told you to fire unless you had fire will, because he wanted to fire volleys altogether.
Hey, smile. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the information.
Yeah, no,
Text me that one.
No problem.
On the bayonet really quick if you have to, or like it's pretty easy to put it on.
Oh yeah, it just fits right on there.
Done.
Boom.
That only took about 15 seconds.
And I'm bad at it, so you
Yeah.
you do it faster. This
That was very
bayonet's a
quick.
little rusty. It doesn't quite go on as quick as it should.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick motion. That's why they have, on my gun, it's behind. On his gun, it's in front. There's these little notches. And it's going to be able to not only use for sights, but as well as to
Front
hold
sight,
the
yeah.
bayonet into position.
These
It
are
locks in.
socket bayonets. They have a channel for the sight to follow. I'm missing a screw here. It should have a screw to tighten it and loosen it. But it put the barrel in, the sight goes through, and then you close it, and it'll lock it in place, so it can't go anywhere.
And when you stab somebody and it doesn't want to give, you can pull really hard. It's not going to pop your bayonet off your gun.
Right.
Talk to them.
Yeah, so one of the neat things is you can literally walk around and just go up to anyone and ask them questions about the Civil War, about anything. They have so much knowledge. It's totally incredible. Everyone, all the reenactors, the historians here that are putting this together, they've know so much, and you can learn just by walking around the campsite and just asking a bunch of questions. It's pretty sweet. And these tents just go on and on and on. I mean, we just keep walking, and there's all kinds of tents set up.
Gun number 1, load! Out here, we're maybe using a half pound of powder.
Yeah.
You know, a full service charge would have been around a pound.
Yeah, there's so many cannons out there. I heard that there's gonna be like 55 cannons.
I'm not sure how many we have here, but we've got quite a bit at this event.
Now, are you part of a group?
Yes, group I'm in, we're 1st Ohio State House Light Artillery, Battery A. We're a little bit unique in that we have a close connection with the Ohio State House.
Okay.
We operate 4 of their original bronze guns. We do ceremonial things at the State House as needed. And then we also come out to events. We do occasionally bring the Ohio State guns out to events.
Okay.
This case, we're participating with a privately owned gun.
And it seems like there's people across the entire country that are participating in this.
Yes.
Is that accurate? Yeah.
Yes. Matter of fact, I heard there was a gun here from California.
Wow.
So, yeah, we have pretty widespread involvement. And it's a fun hobby, and we
Nice.
also, everybody has an interest in the history of it.
Absolutely.
You know, and our whole thing is interested in showing how it was done. We actually have a charter from the state of Ohio to show Ohio's involvement in the Civil War through living history and the operation of the guns. So we're a little bit unique in that we do have ties to the state of Ohio.
That's awesome.
That's
so
we're a
cool.
501c3 charitable organization,
Yep.
educational organization, and
That's awesome.
so that ties in with it.
Yeah.
And we get to do some fun ceremonial things. This year, we always do firings for Veterans Day.
Okay.
Well, this year, it just happened that Joe Walsh of the Eagles was in Columbus because he had his Vets Aid concert. And our first VIP firing was Joe Walsh of the Eagles, and one of the Ohio State House cannons. I had the privilege of assisting him in firing the cannons, so that was
That's awesome.
That was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
But we'll do firings for Veterans Day and various things with the State House. We also have a cannon crew then be in Columbus with one of the State House guns firing at the Red, White, and Boom celebration. They'll be firing cannons there along with fireworks.
Do you know how many people participate in the battle at 4 o'clock?
I have not heard the numbers, so
Okay.
I'm not sure what the numbers were.
Gotcha.
I haven't heard the registration numbers for this year.
Gotcha. But usually you register if you want to participate.
Yes,
You
you
follow
have to-
the code of conduct or whatever. I saw that on the website. There's a bunch of stuff you have to do.
Yes.
For safety and everything, and then.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Definitely for safety. You know, when we come out here, the first thing we have to do before we have any of the event, we have safety inspections of the guns.
Okay.
And the crews have to come on and drill on the guns, and they're watched, and the guns are inspected to ensure that they're safe and being operated in a safe manner.
Gotcha.
You know, and even though we're shooting blanks, I mean, these things are still quite
They
dangerous.
look like that. They're actually
There's still a little spark coming out.
Oh,
of
there's
them,
more
yeah.
than a little spark,
Yeah.
and concussion. You know, we're all about trying to be safe with it also. But it's a lot of fun. It's a fun hobby. And actually, these are 3 of our younger members, and they've just come out on their own to drill.
Nice.
You know, because it's the type of a thing is the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And that's a very important part of doing it and keeping everybody safe.
Gotcha.
It's funny, I was sitting up here. Everything was So the Confederate, you can see the Confederate camp on the other side. Yeah. It's over on the other side of the field.
Like an hour and a half early.
We strategically staggered our seats.
Yeah, so you can actually
So I couldn't see between you guys, and there's not someone tall sitting right in front of me.
That's one way to do it. It kind of reminded me, we're waiting an hour and a half before this thing starts.
What do you call them again?
Calvary.
Story of my life.
If you are a spectator, which is everybody not in a super hot wool uniform, you need to be behind the twine live.
All right, I got my earplugs in. You absolutely need them because it's going to be super loud.
Welcome, folks, to the second day's battle, the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg. What's going to be presented today is portions of the second day's battle when General Longstreet's men went into battle sometime around 4 o'clock in the afternoon in a place called the Wheatfield. For you history guys, I'm sure you know all about that. What we're seeing here right now is federal troops preparing themselves to be struck by General Longstreet's infantry, some horse soldiers, some cavalry, and Confederate artillery. Confederate artillery batteries that would have been posted up along the Emmitsburg Road or further back in the woods are preparing now to strike the area of the Wheatfield. Confederate artillery battery commanders are giving the directions to their artillery batteries, trying to figure out their distance and their powder charge. All know hell's coming to them very shortly. They're preparing. Federal infantry is getting ready to give the Confederates a volley. And now it starts. Confederate artillery has figured out their distance. Now they're firing on the Union line. Off to our left, we have Confederate cavalry trying to keep their forces in line, obeying orders from their battery commanders. Off to our right, we see some Federal artillery trying to figure out the distance between their line and the Confederate line. Infantry readies their guns. Order is given. They fire another volley. Confederate cavalry off to our left is saying they're keeping their distance from the Federal infantry musket fire. Confederate batteries prepare. Fire. And the line of Confederate artillery opens up on the Union infantry. Off to our left, you see Confederate infantry from General Longstreet's command, opening up on the Union infantry in their front. Now it's a duel between infantry on the Battle of the Wheatfield. volley given by the Confederate infantry off to our left, but the Union infantry off to our right is returning fire pretty successfully. Now the infantry heats up the attack. I'm sure General Longstreet's assessing the situation, giving the order to his infantry to advance shortly. Union infantry is firing by company. The smoke starts laying thick on the field. With the humidity the way it is, this becomes the dinge of battle. No man can see right in front or the rear of him. That's why flags are so important for the infantry, so the infantry can follow the flags into the battle. Off to our right beyond that knoll, some Federal artillery is returning fire to the Confederate batteries.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it feels like when they fire off. Order is given to fire.
seasoned veterans. They've met each other in battle before. Such places as Chancellorsville, Fredericksburg, and even Sharpsburg. So they're not strangers to each other. Confederate infantry is given the order to move forward. You can hear the rebel yell as they cross the Gettysburg Road and into the bloody Wheatfield. Hear the musket fire from General Kershaw's men. That was volley fire from 1st Infantry Command. Confederate artillery batteries opening up. They seem to have gotten their range. Neither one of these troops, on the Union side or the Confederate side, were involved in the fighting of the first day. So on the field now, they're referred to as fresh. Another volley fired into the Federals from the Confederate side. The order on the Federal side was to load and hold. Well, the orders on the Confederate side were to keep it up, keep up the hot fire. Now the Federals are going to return.
Dipped in grapes as well.
Union line sergeant takes a hit and falls to the ground. General Longstreet's making his men to the left, forming up on the Gettysburg Road.
I think it's ice here.
Confederate artillery battery is still opening up from beyond the Gettysburg Road. Cavalry is giving their best with the small carbines. Confederate infantry on our left, inching up, crossing the Gettysburg Road, getting mixed in around the rocks along Kershaw's Ridge. The rebel yell loud out. The Federal hears them. They've heard that yell many, many times before.
How rude!
General Kershaw's men of the South Carolina brigades, one on the far left, are moving into position. Another volley by the Union infantry. Kershaw's brigades moving in forward. The shooting and the firing is becoming hotter and hotter as the day goes on.
No, sit back with that. Hello.
The Union dismounted cavalry moves up with the infantry to give them support. Another line fire from General Longstreet's men. The Federal infantry and dismounted cavalry are starting to feel the pinch. starts moving off, repositioning itself, trying to outflank the Federal infantry. But they're not falling back, they're holding their own. Another wild police volley from the Confederate infantry from the South Carolina Brigade. Aim! Fire! They're pouring in hot, but yet the Union line holds. Men from the 5th Corps entering on the field. The 3rd Corps of the Union Army is now starting getting some support. Confederate batteries see the movements of the 5th Corps coming down the road and open up on them. Infantry moving up. Federal men from the 3rd Corps starting to fall back from the stone wall. Falling back to the new position with the 5th Corps. Unfortunately, they're wounded on the line.
Can leave the guy with the bum leg and
South Carolina Brigade moves in position. General Hood's Texans are ready to attack. A line of fire from the Texans. Now far off to your right, the 5th Corps is getting engaged. The 3rd Corps of the Union Army finally gets some relief.
yeah, it will be.
Fire from both sides gets hot. Second line of Confederate infantry fires over the shoulder of the first line. First line returns fire. Second line loads.
Do they have like a stopwatch on them that says in 15 minutes I get shot?
When they get really hot and they don't feel it.
Officers directed his men in. This is the Texas Brigade going into the Wheatfield, pushing the Union men back to the place called the Devil's Den. First line readies. Second line leans over the shoulder of the first line. Order is given to fire. Now everyone loads. Orders to give it for independent fire. Now each man's on his own. Load and fire, load and fire. First line and second line works as a team. First line fires, second line fires. The man in the back communicates with the man up front. Center line, although taking casualties, is still holding. Infantry fire from the 5th Corps off to our right. The Battle of the Wheatfield is now getting its name, the Bloody Wheatfield. Order is given.
It wasn't full close.
Firing completed. Confederate line captain giving orders to his men. Off to our far right, we see the 5th Corps entering the field in force. Coming in to support the 3rd Corps that's taken a heck of a beating this morning. That is fire. Each man from right to left loads and fires. Longstreet throws some more of his troops in. Infantry starts moving forward. Going to come out to the right, now try to outflank the Federal Army. Texas Brigade moves in forward. The 3rd Corps of the Army of the Potomac is about to get encircled. The 5th Corps out to your right is holding their own, holding the line. Casualties start to mount. position. The Texas Brigade keeps moving forward. Sickles' third corps starts to melt away. Confederate infantry is using an oblique tactic to try to flank the Yankees. The 5th Corps starts to fall back. The pressure from the South Carolinians is a bit too much. Back as Confederate infantry moves forward.
Britain wasn't building this battle. Put some money on the Union. No spoilers.
Members of the Union 5th Corps shift over to their left, trying to support what is left of the 3rd Corps. Confederate infantry on our far left marches and fires at the same time, moving in on their adversaries. Confederate cavalry is off to their left, giving support the best they can.
Well, we do get a
Division of the 5th Corps is actually moving over the line. Confederate infantry shifting off on our right. The carnage on the second day was tremendous. Confederates are receiving flanking fire from members of the Union 5th Corps. Confederate batteries are now being up on new arriving Union forces.
see the Union.
Federal infantry is now holding its own beyond the Wheatfield in a place called Little Round Top. Late in the afternoon, as the battle starts to stalemate, Confederate lines hold their own just east of the Gettysburg Road. Federal lines being supported with the 5th Corps now hold the line at Seminary Ridge.
This guy's the Jordan. Second Jordan.
That's a chance.
Yep, we're starting again.
Okay, as the Confederate line starts to reform, the Federal line is holding its own. It's getting late and later and later on the afternoon. How much more can these men endure? Some of the men on the Confederate line from Alabama came in early in the morning and got here in time to take a little break, and they go right into battle. They had no water in their canteens. At this time of the day during the actual battle, both infantry men were running low on ammunition and had to send runners back to the ammunition wagons. Off to our far left, the Union infantry is falling back to reposition. Confederate line moves forward. try to outflank the Federal infantry. Off to our far left, you'll notice that the 5th Corps has moved in an oblique to the right, trying to outflank the Confederates from General Kershaw's South Carolinians that are in their front. Confederate and Union infantry engage in hand-to-hand combat. Federal infantry on our far left has repositioned themselves on top of the high ground. from the Union Army on top of the high ground. Notice Confederate infantry moving on their adversary in their front. Confederate batteries still alive for the afternoon. In front of the Confederates of John Kershaw's. Confederate infantry moving forward, giving them the rebel yell. Everyone uncover. The Battle of Wheatfield has come to an end in the afternoon. Second day's battle is over for this portion of the battlefield. Later this evening, the Battle of East Cemetery Hill will take place, where some more carnage will be continued.
It got really good.
Wow. Wow.
That was interesting.
That was probably one of the, I think, deadliest battles during the Civil War. Was right there in the Wheatfield.
Poor 3rd Division got wiped out. The U.S. one, man.
And it was just, when you see it play out, you just, I don't know, I got emotional at the end when they're playing the taps and everything. It was just like all the, I mean, how many people died during this battle alone, you know?
Oh, a lot. Or something crazy like that.
It was, they did a good job, all the reenactors. I mean, it was hot. The sun came out, and I mean, they're wearing wool coats and everything, and it's super hot. And there were people that were,
I don't know how they do it.
Getting them water just to keep them from getting overhydrated.
Well, when the battle took place, they said that 30% of the soldiers couldn't fight because of dehydration.
Yeah. That was, I'd say the bleacher seats were definitely worth the price.
Oh yeah.
You could get high up and you could see the whole thing.
And get a slight breeze.
Yeah, although during the battle there was no breeze at all. It was pretty.
And you had to get there pretty early to get good seats.
And according to Wikipedia, see how accurate that is or not. These were the conditions today. Was when it was fought 160 years ago. It was hot. It was overcast like this.
Humid.
Yep. They have these water stations set up across the ground so you can get water, which is nice because you definitely need it on a day like today. And you definitely need to bring some earplugs. Definitely for the little ones too, but I mean, to bring earplugs or safety, it's loud. For like an hour and a half straight, it is just blaring cannons and rifles and all that stuff. Well, that does it for today. First time at Gettysburg. What an amazing experience. There's so much to do here. They do this reenactment every year. And obviously throughout the year they have tours and everything that you can do throughout the entire military park here. So new to the channel, just like and subscribe. We appreciate the support, and thanks for tagging along with us today.
And relax your reality with us.
Where'd you get that hat?
Huh? I bought it.
Yeah? You like it?
Mm-hmm.
You got a rifle too, right?
Yep. It's in the car. Half gun.
Nice.